All right, hello everyone. Welcome back here to another episode here of the Let's Play series. Today's episode number 50, and it is a special episode because today we are doing the guided world tour. A few days ago, I came out with the cinematic tour on the channel, and yeah, this will be part 2 of episode 50, which is the guided world tour. And yeah, I'm over here at the spawn point of the world. I did want to mention a few things about the cinematic tour. Didn't cover everything in the world, just kind of covered the main things that we've worked on, that we've made progress on since the original world tour. Yeah, and I only did the things that I built. So this base right here was not shown in that cinematic world tour because I did not build it. This was built by one of my friends. I'm mainly the one who plays on the server, but my friends do get on every once in a while, and yeah, one of my friends built this. So in case you're wondering, that's what that is. So yeah, this is spawn point of the world. This is where we started. Over here is actually where me and my friend who I started the world with, not the one who built this base, actually set up a base because there was a village here, and we had originally just kind of expanded the village, set up a wall around it. Before we moved on to our bases that we have now, I started bases in that direction. But yeah, after we left, my friend joined the server and built this up, so it was pretty cool. I do like this base. But I did not build it. So moving on here, the next thing where I moved to is my starter base over here. You can see just some random builds around here. But yeah, my starter base over here, which you saw in the cinematic tour. Yeah, I moved here was like right after we beat the Ender Dragon. I moved over here once we got our elytras and stuff. And yeah, this is where the big world map is. You can see basically the main parts of the world. We're down here in the bottom left corner. That's where we started. Right there is the spawn point. And yeah, here we are at the starter base. You can see all these circle farms that I have over here. Basically I have a farm for everything. Don't use these very much anymore because I basically have an automatic farm for all of these. So yeah, but cool to have them. We also have, this is where we had our original villagers. Sorry if it's a little bit laggy over here. This is where we had our original villagers. I've since gotten rid of their beds, and their workstations are under the carpet. I got rid of the beds so that iron golems don't spawn anymore because there were tons and tons of iron golems around here. So yeah, that definitely helps with the lag around here, even though there still is a bit of lag just because of how many villagers there are. And over here is actually where we have all of our book trading villagers. As you can see, basically all the villagers that I use. I still use to this day, actually. So this is the two things that I still use over at this base are the villagers and our little concrete maker converter thing over here. So yeah, pretty cool. That's the starter base. Do have a couple animal farms down here and a boat around the back. You can see you have some animals here, which are also adding to the lag. So yeah, let's move on next to another thing that you saw on the world tour briefly, the cinematic tour, which is the Iceboat Racetrack, which is right over here. This is actually one of the first projects that I worked on in this world. And yeah, it wasn't great just because it's so thin and the boats drift so much. That's kind of why I added these blocks in here, because it was basically impossible not to crash without them. Yeah, it's still pretty difficult, which is why I made a new one, which we'll see later in this episode here. But yeah, just kind of have some stuff all around here. Do have like a little starting system here that I added, some very basic redstone up here, but that's just to go. And yeah, so that's that. One thing that I did not show in the cinematic tour that I'll show you real quickly is this over here. I built this a while back, I guess. I was originally planning on expanding it, but I just haven't really gotten to it. Let's see. I haven't been over here in a bit, so I'm not sure if I'm going in the exact right direction. Alright, sorry about that, flew in the wrong direction there, but here we are. This is where our skybridge actually starts, right over here. And yeah, it took a while to find it just because I don't think I've even been over here since we started making the episodes. So yeah, I had built this a while back. Might expand it eventually, but yeah, I built it. I think it's pretty cool. Just a little airport here with a little hangar. Didn't do much with it. Again, might add to it later on. But here is where the Iceboat Road starts. Hopefully the lag isn't too bad for you guys on here. I know sometimes the recording can get messed up when you ride on roads like this. Alright. So we will go along here, and the first thing that comes up is another thing that I didn't show on the World Tour just because we haven't really added much to it, and we don't use it a whole lot in the series, and that is the shopping area over here. A bunch of shops here. I've actually put in a solid amount of time into this. A couple of them aren't finished, like this one, the Birchwood shop. I think we have some in here still. Yeah, some birch logs. Yeah, there you have a flower and dye shop here. Mining shop where I was selling like redstone stuff. Bookshop, which is the one that I actually do make diamonds. Whenever my friends actually buy stuff, it is usually from this shop here. We have a honey shop, Sea Temple stuff shop, TNT, Guardian, or Trident, wool, sea pickle, and another ice, iron, golden carrots, shulker boxes, rockets, and yeah, I think that's it. So pretty cool. I didn't show in the World Tour just because we haven't added anything to it and don't really use it much at all. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that real quick. And yeah, if we keep going this way along the road, main sky bridge here, we get to our main base. So yeah, here's our main base. It was like right before actually I started making episodes was when we built this. Built a fully automatic storage system that you just put stuff into this chest and it gets sorted. All these items get sorted out. Pretty big project here, but yeah, pretty cool. Pretty happy that we have this. And if we go up here, you can see our super smelter here. It's not super efficient just because the items will get clogged, but I usually just put stuff in and then go away. And by the time I come back to it, it's all done. Yeah, so pretty simple. And then all the way up here, we have our portals that go up to the roof of the nether. So yeah, pretty simple stuff here, but I figured I'd show you here. We do have a little slime farm in here. I carpeted the top ones because the iron golems had died, but you can see one of them just died down there. They get targeted towards the iron golems, and the slime drops. I think I just emptied this, but yeah, a few stacks of slime balls in there. And then moving on over here, we have our potion brewing area, which I did show in the World Tour briefly. Let me sleep real quick for you guys. And yeah, so I built this. It was somewhere around episode 10 or something. I built this. Pretty cool. The redstone all works back here. I could show you real quick. Basically, the reason that this is like this is so that even when it's a multi-tick pulls from the button, it only lets out one item. So yeah, pretty cool. Spent some time making this, and it's pretty useful actually. So yeah, all the potions just get made in here. Press the button for whatever you want. Yeah, have some extras in there. So yeah, pretty cool here. I do like the design of this building where it's just kind of like a mini version of the base. And yeah, if you're wondering, these go down to a mining area down there where it's basically all cleared out. All right, moving on here. I think the next thing along is the mini games. The flower farm is here, but I think we'll go over that in a bit when we get to farms. But yeah, this is the Ice Boat Racetrack. You saw our mini one, but this is the big one. There are a couple mobs in the boats here. Not sure how those got there, but I guess they were just boats that were down. Yeah, pretty massive ice track here. Pretty big project, but pretty cool. Been at it since I started the episodes, obviously. So yeah, I like this a lot. Actually, one of the ones we use the most here. And then over here, more recently, actually, last episode we finished this Halloween dropper. At least mostly finished it. Just goes down, as you can see, water at the bottom. You just kind of have to try to avoid the obstacles. This Christmas one over here is much more complete. As you can see, much more going on here. Smaller things to avoid. It's much more difficult. But yeah, pretty cool here. We'll definitely be adding more of these. But I do like the way they turned out. Next minigame along here is the Snowball Knockout. Basically, the way that it works is each person gets some snowballs, and then you just come down here with no armor or anything. And last one standing, you try to knock them down each layer. Last person standing, looks like an Enderman put a block here. Last person standing wins. If you get to the bottom, you lose, obviously. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty simple mini game there. But yeah, I like the way it turned out. I like the design of it. So pretty cool. All right, next here is the Bullseye minigame. This is actually a design by CubFan. Not the like this design of it, but the actual minigame itself, the target box here, is a design by CubFan. So I'll have that linked in the description if you're interested in building that yourself. But I did design like the actual design of this whole minigame myself. So yeah, pretty cool. Did show that in the World Tour. Did not show this roller coaster. I built this a while back. This was, I think, the first thing that we had in the minigame area over here. It's pretty simple. Going in real quick for you guys. Just kind of use some slime blocks. It's, yeah, nothing too sophisticated here. Very, very simple. I do like the way scaffolding looks for a roller coaster, so get pushed back and forth here, go under, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, maybe eventually we'll build like a real big one, but yeah, just kind of adds to the area. I do like the way it looks. Next over here we have a little maze here with the infinity maps. If you haven't seen this before, I'm not sure where I first saw it, but basically if you make a map all white, it's basically impossible to see anything. You do kind of see the armor, the item frame edges, but other than that, it is pretty impossible to make your way around it. So yeah, that's that. Just a quick little maze there. Over here is a standoff minigame, actually a design by Exuma that he built. But I kind of made my own like little design for it and built it over here on the world. So that will also be linked in the description. His video on how this game hole works. Built that pretty recently as well. Here we have a maze, pretty massive maze, actually pretty difficult to get through. But I really like the way it looks. I like the leaves. There's lights under all the leaves, so it's perfectly illuminated. And I really like the way it looks. So yeah, pretty cool here. I think it adds a lot to the area. And then we have our most recent minigame here that we just finished. That is actually a game where you ride a minecart, and as you go along, you have to try to hit the targets on the sides of the buildings. I haven't really finished like the front of it, stuff like that, but it is fully functional now. Basically, you get points that come back here for every target that you hit, and yeah, it works well. I really like how this turned out. Really happy with this kind of city theme to it, apartment buildings. So yeah, we'll be making more progress on this future episodes, but yeah, really like the way it came out. And then yeah, one of the bigger mini games, probably our biggest actually, that we built is this 18-hole mini golf course. So yeah, pretty cool here. I might do like a full playthrough of it eventually on my channel one time. I haven't really. I did build. I think I had built the first 9 holes when I started the series, and I built the last 9 or something like that during the series. So yeah, pretty cool here. I like the logo in the middle. I like the way that looks. And yeah, so they're all unique holes. None of them are like copies of each other or anything like that. Designed it all myself. So yeah, pretty happy with how this mini golf course here turned out. And yeah, that's basically all the main mini games here. There are a couple more over here actually. The one is just a sheep mini game, basically like a luck mini game wherever the sheep path finds. If you choose a color and wherever the sheep path finds, whoever picked that color wins. So can be used for like bets or like making decisions, stuff like that. And looks like he went purple that time. So yeah, pretty simple mini game there, but works fine. And you can just return them like that. So very simple. Over here is actually a project that I really like the way it turned out, which is the Roman Colosseum here. Obviously the Colosseum now is like torn up, like it's a ruin. But yeah, kind of built it complete. Did have most of this built before we started the series, but added a little bit during the series. But yeah, basically the way it works is each player starts in here, they get starting equipment, and then as they go along and fight, you can get gear from different things like this. If you press a button, it does get you vulnerable, but you can get better equipment from doing that. So yeah, pretty cool here. I'm thinking that pretty soon here we might be adding some more like ancient buildings like this, like maybe like the Greek Parthenon, stuff like that. I think that could be really cool just to have an area over here of that. So yeah, it could be something to look forward to. And yeah, I think that is it for the mini games. I do, as you can tell, like building mini games, and I'm sure we'll be adding plenty more in the episodes to come. So yeah, coming on over here to the next thing as actually our bulk villager trading over here. So yeah, basically started this a while back, and it's very useful. Basically, I have masons on this one where I can get plenty of quartz or bricks or whatever I need to get. Have those on both sides. Have a villager breeder in the middle here that I use whenever I need to get more villagers to fill this thing up. So yeah, pretty useful. This one over here is librarians, and the thing that's unique about this is I made it so that they all actually can do the glass trade, which is extremely useful. Like I'd say about probably 60% of them actually get the glass trade, so I basically only kept the ones that had the glass trade to use. So yeah, it's really useful. Get a ton of glass. I haven't mined sand for glass in forever because of this. And then over here we have our pumpkin one. As you can see, we have shulkers of pumpkins here. And I kind of did the same thing over here where I only kept the guys that did the pumpkin trade. Again, I think it's like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's probably like 60 to 75% of the farmers actually get the pumpkin trade. So I only kept the ones that have the pumpkins. And yeah, I did that on both sides, and it's really useful for getting plenty of emeralds. And yeah, this is my main source of XP as well. And then the last one over here is the one we added most recently, which is clerics, which I use for redstone, glowstone, and bottles of enchanting. And I actually just recently finished the second row of them and haven't actually upgraded them yet. So that is something we'll do. And yeah, I think the one thing over here on this side of the map that we have left is my other friend's base, the friend who started the world with me. He actually gets on a decent amount. He has a major work in progress over here with his kind of mansion that he's building. Sure should turn out to be pretty cool. Keep you updated with this, how this goes. Looks like a little courtyard in the back here, stuff like that. He's got farms running along here, a massive tower, which we might be turning into a mini game soon. We'll have to see how that goes. And then his main base here is the ziggurat, which he has his storage and stuff in. So yeah, pretty cool. Built this around a pretty massive sand village. All these buildings here were already here, as well as all the ones over here. So it's a pretty massive sand village. I don't know that I've seen a village this big before. I think there were even more than this when it started. But yeah, pretty cool. I figured I'd show you that real quick. That was also not in the cinematic tour because I didn't build it. But yeah, I figured I'd share it. This is where the bridge ends. It goes all the way along a few thousand blocks. So yeah, that's basically it for this side of the world. Let's move on to the rest of the stuff that you can see on the map. Alright, so I realize I kind of derped. There are a couple things over there that I still need to show you, but the one thing on the other side of the map, the main thing over here, is the Chinese village. You did see this in the cinematic tour, and we have made a few changes to this since the start of the series. Nothing really with the exteriors of the buildings, but we did do all of the interiors here. As you can see, these the fisherman huts over here are pretty simple, but we did do all of them, all the interiors for them. Pretty simple, but I think it just adds to it. Interiors aren't something that I do a ton of, so yeah, I figured I'd do them with this. I don't think we did that building, but we did do all of the residential houses, buildings over here. As you can see, all of them kind of have a bedroom, kitchen. Most of them have like a little storage loft as well, like this one here, bedroom, kitchen, and then storage loft up there. So yeah, pretty cool little area here. One of my friends did actually kind of help me with the design of this building, but I did do the rest of the area. So yeah, I really like the way this whole area has turned out here. This was actually a wither skeleton creeper farm, but it no longer works because in 1.16 mobs cannot spawn on wither roses anymore except for wither skeletons, so it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, it used to work. It was actually a pretty good creeper farm, but that's all right. You can still see like some of the drops in here, I think. Still flowing in actually. I'm not in this area a lot, as you can tell. So yeah, it looks like some of the chests are just flowing down. Yeah, have a few buildings over here as well. Some bigger buildings to go along with those houses and towers. And yeah, really like the way this area has turned out. We'll probably eventually be adding some stuff to it, maybe in here. But yeah, like the way this has turned out. The one main thing that we have to do is the interior of this big building. I don't know what we'll do with it, but we'll find something to do with it. Could be pretty cool. So what I'm going to do right now is head over to the barn and the city area, the two things that I forgot on the other side of the map. So I'll show you those, and yeah, I'll see you over there. Alright, flying in here to one of the more recent projects that we've started, which is the Mega Barn. Over here, this is the main idea I had for this was to get all of the peaceful mobs in the game over in one area, and didn't want it to be too close to any of my major stuff, just so that there wasn't a whole ton of lag from the animals. I mean, it's not too many animals, but you know, anything helps. So yeah, basically have all of them here. The one that I have had trouble getting is the panda, because I don't really have any jungles nearby here, and you can't lead pandas. So even with the mushrooms, I can just put leads on them, and I could at least try to get them places, as well as the polar bears. So yeah, it makes it a little more complicated for the pandas. So the pandas is the main one that I have left, and there might be a couple other ones that I try to get. But yeah, we have done quite a bit with the outside of this, as well as the inside. I really like the way this has turned out. We'll be doing some major like land work with the outside of it, planting crops, maybe building some silos. Yeah, like I said, one of our newer projects, but I really like the way that it's coming along. And yeah, so let's go on over here to the other thing that I forgot on this side. You'll see the racetrack right here. Actually, if we right by this, it's right over by the droppers, and that is our main city area, city tower area, where I like to build a bunch of towers, as well as our casino. So let's look at the casino first. Let me sleep real quickly as well. So let's do that. Yeah, I basically have three active machines in the casino here. All work pretty well. Pretty happy with these. Let me grab some diamonds and we'll go through a couple of them. This one is the diamond block machine, so basically there is a 1 in 9 chance that you'll get a diamond block, and first try we actually won there. Pretty cool. See 2 in a row. Nope. Alright, and then this one is 50-50, so you either get 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, or no diamonds. You usually get 1 out, but it's completely 50-50 all of the chance. So yeah, pretty cool here. Get 1 again. Let's try, and we didn't get anything. So yeah, 50-50. And then the last one, which we actually built pretty recently here, which I didn't really decorate the X outside of yet, is the crop one, where basically, so nothing grew that time, so you wouldn't get any diamonds. So the grass here gets bone mealed, or it's supposed to. Yeah, so there, it gets bone mealed when it goes back, and if anything grows on it, any flowers, or if grass grows on it and a seed drops, then you get diamonds back. So you'll see, looks like seeds went there, and yeah, so I got 2 diamonds back. So it's about even actually. It works pretty well. So yeah, pretty cool mini game. Built it pretty recently. And yeah, those are the 3 casino machines. We do have a second floor where we can build more if we want, if we design any. And then over here we have our main city tower area. Another thing that I started pretty early. Yeah, I really like the way these have turned out. I think I had a couple towers over here when I first started making the episodes, but yeah, since we have added many towers over here, the most recent one being this one here, to kind of match up with this one. I really like the design of this one, so I kind of did some similar things with it. Obviously different color, a few different designs. And yeah, we have a few different buildings over here. We have a brick one here, more of a parking garage here, like a office apartment building there, and yeah, I really like the design of this one. This is one of my favorite ones. Bigger building, but I still think it looks really good as a tower. And yeah, so pretty cool little area over here, and I think that's basically it for everything that is on the map. Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do next is get into the farms. So yeah, I'll see you at our first farm. All right, real quick before we move on to the farms here, I did just want to show you the Nether Hub over here. Show this in the cinematic tour, but this basically has portals to everything that is shown on the map. The barn, a couple of them just go to different villages where I was getting stuff from. This one goes to, that one goes to the ice farm actually. This one goes to the end, that goes to the sand base, my friend's base. And then these ones all go to mini games, the villager one, stuff like that. This is actually the most recent one we added, which is the turtle farm, or goes to our turtle egg and scoot farms. This is the biggest tunnel that we have, goes about 4,000 blocks over to our nether base, which we'll be looking at later on. But yeah, basically all these tunnels go to pretty important places like our mesa and stuff like that. What we're actually going to be doing right now is heading down this tunnel and looking at our main farming industrial area. Alright, there we go at the end of the tunnel, and this actually goes down to the collection area, which we'll look at last, but let's go through some of the farms we have over here, or most of them at least. This is the Nether Tree farm. Works decently well, haven't used it a whole ton yet, but yeah, it gets all the wood out, drops it all down to the bottom where it all gets collected and sent up here. I think I emptied it for the last time I used it. So yeah, that works well. All the items just come down through the side. I believe this was Etho's design. Yeah, so then over here we have a farm that I designed myself, which is a Nylium farm. Basically, you can put either the warped or the crimson Nylium here, and then you grab some netherrack and you just hold right click and left click, and this sends out bone meal, or this sends out netherrack, sorry, and this sends out bone meal through this dispenser. That bone meal's that. This is to stop the plants from growing on top. So yeah, overall this works very well. No problems with it at all. And yeah, I've used it a few times whenever I need Nylium. And then next over here we have our wool farm. Works really well. Looks like a couple of the sheep are missing. I think I haven't really updated it in a bit, and I guess, I don't know, I'm not sure what happened here to be honest, but those three are missing, but all the rest of them work. They have shears in there. I had them being collected into here, but now I send them all to the collection area, all the wool, so that's good. Here we have our crop farm, which was a pretty massive project, but yeah, it's here. See some endermen have put some blocks down, but yeah, basically the way it works is whenever the crops are fully grown like that, the farmer breaks it, and then a minecart hopper underneath it. If we can see, well, there's a minecart hopper up there that picks up all the items. And yeah, it works really well. Haven't had any problems. I have a bunch of chests full of the stuff, so I'm just using it for bone meal at the moment. But as you can see, all the farmers are there, and it works very well. So that is good. Next over here we have our sea pickle farm. I think we have a decent stockpile of them here, but basically the way that this works is the bone meal gets sent on to these sea pickles and it grows them all around here. Looks like some of these died, not sure what happened there. But we'll fix that if we ever need to use this. And then the pistons just shoot the coral back and forth and it breaks the sea pickles. Then it all flows into these two chests on the side. So that works well. Over here we have a pretty simple cocoa bean farm. Use this a few times, you have a pretty solid stockpile of this as well now. But yeah, basically whenever we want to use it, we just press whatever side the logs are on, we just press the button and it sends the logs over, breaks all the cocoa beans, and then we just replace them. So yeah, pretty easy there. Next here we have a cactus farm, very simple cactus farm. Looks like it actually, I might have to fix that, and it doesn't get all the drops, but whatever, I don't use it a whole lot, just mostly use it for green dye. Next we have the farm, the most recent farm that I built actually. The chorus fruit farm over here. Basically the reason that this is elevated is so that it's easy to use a bow to shoot down all the flowers, and then when you use this, when you press this lever, water goes out, breaks all that, and flows it all into a chest at the bottom over there. So that works well. Alright, next we have the two nether vine farms. So the warped vine and the crimson vine, or warped root or something like that, and then the crimson vine. And yeah, just basically the same exact design as my sugarcane farm here, except this one is reverse since they grow downwards. But yeah, both work well. I have a decent stockpile of them down in the collection area as well. Over here we have our biggest one, which is our pumpkin farm. I use pumpkins by far the most out of anything, because I have all the villagers that I use for XP, as well as to get emeralds. So yeah, pretty massive pumpkin farm. Whenever the chests that I have to collect it fill up, I either empty them or just convert it to bone meal. It's not a big deal, and it produces a bunch of bone meal. Up here we have a farm to collect all of the different kinds of the new nether materials that grow on the Nylium. This is the exact same design as my flower farm, which you'll see later on, but basically the flying machine just goes back and forth picking all the stuff up, and then when it gets to the end it activates an observer that bone meals the whole thing, and then it all gets collected down into here. There's probably a bunch in here, so yeah, works well. I think obviously I have it turned off right now. Let's see, right here we have our mob farm. You can't really see too much of how it works. Basically this was originally a witch farm, but I built it wrong, so it was like only the witches were spawning really rarely, so it wasn't even worth it being a witch farm. This is actually on a witch hut, so if I ever want to tear this down and make it a witch farm, I can do that. But yeah, basically the way it works is there's string in there, and whenever a mob spawns, the string detects the mob and then pushes it down where it gets crammed by minecarts, and then that all gets sent to my collection area. Over here we have a pretty massive honey farm. It doesn't look like any of the bees are out right now, but yeah, pretty simple. Basically, whenever the things fill up, they get activated. Looks like they're clogged up right now. Might have to update all of these. Looks like the redstone might have gotten messed up, but not too big of a deal. I have a ton of honey blocks and honeycomb as well. Over here we have our netherwort and vine farms. Very simple farms. They're manual. But the netherwort does get collected by a hopper minecart under all those, so that's good. Dried kelp farm over there, or just kelp that I convert to dried kelp for all my fuel. And yeah, I think that's all the farms here. So, oh, right here we have our iron farm, very simple iron farm. That actually in 1.16, the zombie disappeared, so I need to fix that, but that's fine. As well as it looks like a villager got up. I don't know what's going on there. That's alright. Yeah, I think that's all the farms. Let's go up real quick and make sure. Yeah, looks like I got everything. Alright, let's go down to the collection area real quick here. Show you what's going on down here. And here we are. Again, mushrooms have now started growing down here since the update. I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. Maybe that was already like that, I don't know. But down here we have where all the wool is collected. So you can see pretty solid amount of wool. I empty this every once in a while, and I also have like wool shulker boxes that I have filled up. And then over here we have the pumpkins. I believe it's filled up right now. Yeah, I have it all being converted into bone meal at the moment. Space for dried kelp, which I emptied recently. Iron, poppies, honey bottles, which we have plenty of. Honeycomb, which I just emptied. Green dye, cactus. Cactus full. I think I might have converted the cactus farm to all bone meal at the moment. But as you can see, plenty of bone meal. All the mob drops here. Sugar cane, which was full, so I converted to bone meal. These ones, which are still running fine. Yeah, these do not drop 100% of the time, so they do run slower than other farms, so that's not a problem at all. So yeah, all the other ones, all like the manual ones, I don't actually have being put down here because there's no reason to. That would just be a pain, because if I'm going to be manually doing it, I'm not just gonna have to come down here to collect it. So yeah, that's basically it for the main AFK farming area. Let's go look at some of the other farms that we have in the overworld. Alright, moving along here to my Guardian farm, which is not too far away from my main AFK area. And yeah, it's pretty simple Guardian farm here. Nothing too big, but it works pretty insanely quick. Tons of them spawn, and it's actually, I'm pretty sure it's almost too fast for the hoppers to keep up. So let's head down here real quick. Try to get in. Okay. And then we have a sorting system down here, and we have used a ton of this farm, just because all of my nether tunnels are made of prismarine. I have a bunch of other stuff. I have thousands of blocks of nether tunnels that are all prismarine, basically, other than the floor of them. So yeah, pretty massive, pretty massively important farm there. But yeah, nothing too complicated. Works pretty well. So yeah, next we're going to go check out the flower farm. So let's head over there. Alright, over here at our flower farm, which I briefly mentioned earlier when we were looking at the mini games, but I actually had this flower farm here way before I even started building mini games over here. So that's why it's in such a weird spot. But I kind of just decided to match the building of the flower farm up with the theme of the racetrack. And I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it turned out pretty decent. Some patterns on the top here. And yeah, like I said, over at the AFK area, it's basically the same exact design as the nether one, where the flying machine just goes back and forth picking up the items, drops them into the hoppers. I have it off right now. It looks like it's stuck in the middle, not sure how. They do get stuck when you leave the chunks, so usually I try to turn it off and have it go to the end before I get out of the chunks, just so that doesn't happen. But yeah, we've used this a bunch, use it for all of my dyes. If we head down here, I just have a on-off switch here. It looks like I had a sign there. Oops. Alright, yeah, and then we have it all being sorted in here, all the different kinds of flowers. So, yeah, pretty solid flower farm here. Nothing too complicated, but it does get several different kinds of flowers. I put it in a good spot, so that does that. And yeah, that's the flower farm. Let's go look over there at the drown farm. Alright, flying in here to the drown farm. This drown farm is actually in a pretty solid spot. It's right by my main base, but the reason I built it here is because the river biome down here actually gets pretty massive, much bigger than river biomes usually get. So it's a really good spot to build the drown farm. Basically the way it works is all this water here is river biome, and then the drown spot in here. And like you can see here, they all float down, and they get pushed into here, where they flow down the middle tunnel there, where they flow all the way down here over some ice and come over here where I just stand and can kill them. Looks like there's some piled up in here already. So yeah, pretty simple farm, but got a few trends out of this. Tons of Nautilus shells, stuff like that. So yeah, let's go look at the next farm. Alright, that's basically it for the overworld farms, so let's head over here into the end, where we do have one farm, which I've used a bit just because you can't get black dye from a flower farm, and that is the Wither Rose farm. Yeah, I've had this for quite a while now, used it a bunch, just for random stuff, concrete, that sort of stuff. And yeah, been pretty useful. I do have to fix it up every once in a while, because the wither can set loose just randomly will set out like a different kind of shot which can break obsidian. So it's not perfect, but it works, and the wither roses get sorted out and put in here. I had just emptied it, so we have the first one. So yeah, pretty simple farm here. Basically the way it works is just an enderman farm with the wither killing them. And when the wither kills a mob, you can get wither roses from it. You do get wither roses from it. I've also like waterlogged this whole side of the end island so that when I AFK up there, no enderman can spawn down here. So yeah, that's the wither rose farm. Let's go look at the gold farm. Alright, over here at our gold farm, which is completely AFKable, we get a pretty ridiculous amount of gold from this. As you can see, the pigmen just spawn very frequently, and then they go towards the middle, where there are some turtle eggs lined up here. There's none. I do it every other row, just because that's all you need. You don't really need this many turtle eggs, but I had turtle eggs, so I did this. And then as long as there's air blocks above the turtle eggs, these zombie piglins will track towards them, and then they walk over the trapdoors and all fall to their death down here onto these hoppers. And I believe I just emptied this the other day, so I don't think there will be any in here. Okay, so there's a bit. But yeah, fills up pretty quickly. An overnight session usually gets me at least to this row of chests, so it's pretty insane loot. I obviously just sort out all the gold nuggets. I get rid of all the rotten flesh because it's not very useful to me. There are iron golems at the ends to... Sorry, the audio cut out here. Basically what I was saying is the iron golems are there to get the magma cubes to drop off so that they do not clog up the farm. The magma cubes target the iron golems. Alright, moving along here to our Hoglin farm. Very simple farm. This is probably the farm that I use the least on the server here, just because I eat golden carrots as my main source of food, and then I already get leather from the piglin bartering. As you can, okay, not sure how that happened. But and then I get the leather, plenty of leather from the piglin bartering. So I don't use this a whole lot, but it's nice to have just in case I do want pork chops or I need a ton of leather quickly. Because it's very quick. Obviously the rates are very quick just because they're the only thing that can spawn in this area. I did have to come to the new part of the nether to build this. I could build the new piglin farm over in the nether wastes where I had already loaded, but I had to come to new chunks in order to make this farm. But yeah, pretty simple farm. Basically the way it works is they spawn up here, the torches are here so no piglins spawn, and then they get scared by these mushrooms here, the fungus, and then they fall down into the lava where it cooks them and kills them, and their drops end up down here. So yeah, pretty simple farm. A couple more nether farms, so let's head over to those. Alright, coming along here to our new nether base that we started pretty recently here since the 1.16 update. We have our longest tunnel that we have leading down to this. It goes about 4,500 blocks. As you can see, we are at 33,64983. So we are pretty far away from the nether hub. Took a while to build this tunnel, pretty massive project, but it all works now. Works well, and yeah, the three farms that we have over here so far are the magma cube spawner, the piglin bartering, which 16 is way too many piglins to do. I mean, I have plenty of gold to do it, but there's just no possible way any amount of hoppers could keep up with this. So I usually just have to turn it off after a bit. With the 1.16.2 update, glowstone no longer comes in, so we switched that to blackstone. So we get those, we get ender pearls, fire charges, iron nuggets, frag obsidian. Spectral arrows are also new, instead of the magma cream, which we have some down there of, plenty of gravel, leather, nether quartz, obsidian, soul sand, nether bricks, and then the other things that we get are fire potion, soul speed, and then iron boots, which I just get rid of, as well as water bottles now with the 1.16.2. And yeah, as you can see, the magma cube spawner farm is working right here perfectly fine. If you're wondering, yes, this is a bastion that I just completely dug out. We're going to be filling it with stuff, decorating it. See plenty of magma creams in here from this farm. Pretty productive. And then the last thing that we have over here is a little basalt farm. Works well. Basically the way that it works is you could stand right here. I think what I do though, I think you could stand right here after you turn it on. I do have it on a pretty slow speed, just so that I don't have to worry about it getting stuck with server lag or anything like that, since we are on a multiplayer server. But the easiest way to use it is just to stand here and mine it, and it will all get sent down into the chest down here. And yeah, so pretty simple basalt farm, but works fine for whenever we need basalt. I might end up making a big one later on if we need a bunch of basalt for a project or something, but this is all we need for now. So yeah, those are the three farms in the nether base that we started. We also recently started digging out this other side of it, which we'll be connecting up, so that should be good. Getting lots of blackstone for mining this, so that's nice. And yeah, that's basically it for this. Let's head over to our last nether farm, which is the wither skeleton farm. Alright, there we go, made it over to our last major farm on this world, which is our wither skeleton farm. Put a ton of work, as you can see over here, placing buttons to make sure most of this is spawn proof, as well as placing tons of lava all over the surrounding land. It's not perfect, could definitely be better, but it does what I need it to do to get the beacons when I need them. And then the farm itself is right here. I actually had this built before 116, where all mobs could spawn on Wither Roses, but the Wither Roses would just kill the other mobs and the Wither Skeletons would come out. But it actually works better now with the 116 update because Wither Skeletons are the only mobs that can spawn on the Wither Roses. So basically the way this works is the Wither Skeletons spawn, the dogs scare them towards the Iron Golem, and then they're baited at the Iron Golem. And then they fall down here, where they are all one hit to kill, where I can come down here to a little AFK spot. Usually I AFK down there, so that to make sure that there's enough room for them to spawn. I think it just makes it better. Let's see if we can get any at them right now. But yeah, it's pretty simple. Put a lot of time and effort into this project, but yeah, and it gets us the beacons that we need. Yeah, there we go. Got a couple of them to fall down here. And yeah, so yeah, that's basically it for the Wither Skeleton farm. Yeah, so that is all of the farms in the world. All right, wrapping it up here. Basically, that is the world tour. Obviously, it's not everything. There's a bunch of little stuff. I do have a little ice farm that I use. But I mean, it's just mining ice, so nothing significant to show there. But yeah, I think we covered all of the main parts of the world here. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We're back here at the main base. This has been episode 50 of the Let's Play series. Please be sure to share this video with anyone who you think might be interested. And yeah, I will see you in a little bit for episode 51. We'll keep going with the Let's Play series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.